All right. We are live. I believe we are live right now. I'm just waiting for people to get in. And yeah, I'm just waiting for people to get in right now. See, we got one person in right now. What's up? What's good? The one person that's here. We're going to get started in just a few. I just want more people to come in. But whoever you are, what's good? We're going to be talking about Spider-Man Brand New Day. I'm very excited to talk about it. There's a lot of updates and a lot of things that have been, shown off. And I'm just excited to talk about it. I'm just going to sit back. I'm going to chill, kick back with you guys. And we're just going to talk about it. Whoever is here. Yeah. Maybe I'll do a little bit of a recording. I don't know if anyone's here. Might do a little bit of a recording live. And whatever this live stream is, I could do as a part of a video on the channel because I've never done that before. So yeah. Is anyone here right now? There was someone here. They left. I wish I had more people. I hate when my streams, I used to have like 10 people. Now I only get like 0 people now. Story of my life, right? Story of my life. Um, I'm just not all that intriguing anymore, which is fine, you know? There are other people more entertaining than I am. But yeah, while I'm here, I'm just waiting for people to join in. They left, they were here, then they left again. Dang. I'm gonna record a video. I'm gonna record a video while I'm live because I can and I will, and I want to do that. I think that'd be cool. So let me go ahead and get this up right quick because I've never done this before. So we're gonna see how this turns out. Whoever shows up, they show up. Whoever doesn't, just it's not gonna matter. You know, I can't stress about this. I'm pretty sure people didn't even get the notification for this because it seems like people aren't getting notifications to my stuff now, which is another frustrating thing about this whole YouTube space. No, okay, I'm not going to be able to do that. Well, never mind. That's fine. But yeah, we're here. We're going to be talking about Brand New Day. I'm sure you guys are aware and have seen some images, have seen the set photos, things like that. So yeah, that's what we're going to be doing. Maceo, what's up? Welcome to the stream. Hello. Uh, okay, now we're getting some people coming in. All right. But yeah, welcome, Maceo. We're going to be talking about Brand New Day. We're going to be talking about the brand new suit. What do you guys think about the new suit? Do you guys like the new suit? What are your thoughts on it? The set photos, things that we know so far about the film. Because they're not filming today because there was some weather in Glasgow today, but they're going to resume filming tomorrow. So we'll probably get some more videos and some more set stuff from the set. So yeah. So if anyone is here, like tell me, like, are you guys excited for Brand New Day? Are you guys excited that we're getting a new Spider-Man film? Also, I want to say that on Thursday, I'm going to be doing my Fantastic Four stream. I was supposed to do it last week, but some things came up, so I wasn't able to do it. So I rescheduled it for Thursday this week. If you guys still want to talk about Fantastic Four, I don't know if you guys want to, but why not? The powerful Anthony Studios, what's up? Welcome to the stream. We're talking about Brand New Day. We're talking about the new suit. We're talking about some things that we know. Maceo, you said not as amazing as Amazing Spider-Man 2 suit, but it's still great. That's fair. I like the suit personally. I think it's one of my favorite live action suits. I mean, it's a combination of Toby, Andrew, and John Romita Sr. Um, and I like that because John Romita Sr. is my favorite Spider-Man artist. Obviously, Tom doesn't have the stature that the John Romita Sr. era of Spider-Man has, because that one is more muscular. He has more of a muscular tone to him, but I think Tom still. I think it would be cool to see Tom kind of grow into that muscular Spider-Man look, in the future. I think that would be something pretty cool to kind of see that evolution go forward with that. So who knows? Did you see Tom Holland's Spider-Man suit? It's amazing. Looks like Toby Andrews, a little bit of spectacular Spider-Man on the front. Yeah, I did. If you have not, go check out my reaction to the suit reveal. I think there's like 200 people viewed that one. Pretty cool. I would love more. I would love more people to check it out, but we'll see. We'll see. But yeah, I did see the suit. I have been keeping tabs on, the set photos and things like that. There's been some official photos of the suit, Tom in the suit and stuff. So yeah, I like it. I really like it. I even like the back spider on the suit. Reminds me of the Amazing Spider-Man 2's TASM a little bit with the spider. Which in No Way Home, they kind of do reference that, yeah, Tom does take inspiration from Toby and Andrew's suit. But I don't know if you guys noticed this, and I have a little bit of a theory. I don't know if you guys noticed this, but in the first suit teaser that they did before they revealed the suit, the spider on the back of the suit looks different. And I had the theory, and I talked to my friends about this, that it could be a second suit. Will we see Tom with the second suit? Maybe, or maybe it's just the same suit because, you know, people were theorizing with Superman that, Superman was going to get a second suit, and that didn't happen. He just fixed up the suit he had. So it might just be a case scenario where Tom, you know, Peter Parker in Brand New Day just fixes up the suit each time. That's really probably what it's going to be. You said, I hope we see Spider-Man fight Punisher just like Sonic versus Knuckles in Sonic 2. I mean, it's definitely we're definitely going to get a fight. I don't think it would do this movie any justice if we didn't get them, having a fight of some type. And there is a report just recently today about the Punisher. And let me see if I can. I can't pull it up on here. At least I don't think I can. Maybe I can. I can show it off, but let's see here. This comes from Daniel RPK. I should be able to share my screen with you guys. I should be able to share it. Let me know if you guys see this. I think you guys can see this, right? Let me know. If you guys can see that, then yeah, we'll reportedly have new tools to handle bigger threats in Brand New Day. He will have a tank and advanced technology. So yeah, you know how in the animated series, when we got the Punisher in the animated series, and he had the van, and he had all this like advanced technology stuff from the animated series. It would be cool if they did a scene like that, where Spider-Man swinging away, but Punisher's like doing everything, his gadgets, to try to take down Spider-Man. I think that would be a really cool reference to do because I really love that episode. They were going back to back in the animated series. You had the Daredevil one, you had the Punisher one, you had the one with Blade and the one with Morbius. Like the animated series just goaded when it comes to the Spider-Man team ups and then the different storylines that they did. So if that is the case, I hope we get a scene like that. Also, there's something else I did want to share. I don't know if you guys saw this, but this is in reference to the tone of the film. Now, this is also coming from Daniel RPK. And they say that Spider Man Brand New Day will reportedly have a darker tone. It will somewhat be similar to The Amazing Spider Man 2 or Craven's Last Hunt storyline from the comics. So, yeah, if you guys know a bit about Craven's Last Hunt, and you know how dark that story is. It's very, very dark. And, you know, I really love Craven's Last Hunt. I've read it so many times. And obviously, people know that iconic, Peter has on the black suit and he's crawling out of the grave. Like, everybody has seen that comic book panel, one time or another. So it would be dope to see them build up to a Craven's Last Hunt. I would love to see Craven get introduced into, as a Spider-Man villain down the road. But you said, Solomon, what's up? You said Eyes of Wakanda was lit. I still need to check out Eyes of Wakanda. I've been watching the King of the Hill reboot today, and I've watched 5 episodes of it. I'm really enjoying the King of the Hill reboot so far. I can't wait to finish it up. So expect a review on that sometime this week because I'll give you guys a review. I still need to do a review on the Wonderfully Weird World of Gumball. I'm still trying to catch up on a lot of things right now. Favorite and least favorite Spider-Man movie. Okay. My favorite. Are we counting animation? Are we counting animation in that? Because if we're counting animation, then Into the Spider-Verse is my favorite Spider-Man movie. But if we're not counting live action, it'd have to go with Tobey's Spider-Man 2. And then as far as least favorite Spider-Man movie, I'd say it's a tie between TASM 2 and Far From Home, but I think Far From Home is my least favorite. And I think the reason why Far From Home is my least favorite, at least from what I remember watching it, the premise is cool. Like, obviously, Spider Man has been to England, he's been to Florida in the comics, and he's been to many different places outside of New York. So that element I thought was cool because we hadn't really seen that with any other Spider Man film. It's usually just focused basely in New York. So seeing him in a new area, I like that. I like when movies can take characters and take them out of the environment that they know and put them in a brand new environment for them to kind of learn and adapt a little bit while they're there. So I like that. But for me, Far From Home, I think Mysterio, they could have done a lot more with Mysterio, in my honest opinion. And I think Jake Gyllenhaal did, he did what he was supposed to. I think he did the job that he was supposed to do. But I think they could have done so much more with Mysterio. And it almost felt like Mysterio felt very underhanded in that film in general. And I think some of the jokes in that film just didn't land for me. And that's why I think Far From Home might be my least favorite, but it's not a horrible Spider-Man movie. Like, there's things to enjoy with Far From Home, but I just don't. For me, I just something about Far From Home. Which, granted, it's been a couple years since I've watched Far From Home, so maybe I need to go back and rewatch it because I might actually have a difference of opinion on it now. But from when I saw it some years ago, I wasn't really a fan of certain things that they did with the film. But again, I'll have to like rewatch it. But yeah, excited for brand new day, nostalgia times. I'm excited too. is seeing all the set photos and hearing more and more information about some of the villains and stuff that we got. It's looking to be something very, very, very special, and I can't wait for this movie to come out. The suit looks very comic accurate. It does, like, it's a mix of John Romita Sr. with a little bit of Ditko, a little bit of I even say like a little bit of McFarlane in there too, just a little bit. And I know people like they didn't reveal the mask, obviously, but a lot of people are kind of theorizing: are we going to see him with the bigger eyes? You know, like the Todd McFarlane era. Obviously, they stuck to a more John Romita Sr., which I'm happy with because I personally, like I said, you guys know John Romita Sr. is my all-time favorite Spider-Man comic artist. So I'm okay with it. Um, but if they did Todd McFarlane, I would be down too because I do like some of Todd McFarlane's work with Spider-Man. He's done some pretty cool stuff. So yeah. Yeah, and apparently Hulk is going to make an appearance. Yes, he is. Hulk, apparently, to some sources, Hulk, Spider-Man, and Punisher are going to have a fight, from what I read. So that's going to be interesting. Obviously, Bruce Banner, they confirmed Bruce Banner, but I think people put two and two together. It's like, yeah, we're going to get Hulk. So it made sense to confirm that. Yeah, and we got Scorpion. Yeah, the actor for Scorpion, he posted on his Instagram teasing Scorpion. And, you know, he had a little bit of a, let me see if I can pull it up. I can pull it up for you guys. Since we're talking about it, I might as well just pull up some of this stuff so that way we can like, you know, go further into it. So let me see if I can find some of this stuff. Because he, you know, the actor, he did post about Scorpion and, you know, the potentiality of what his suit could be, you know, through that. And if they're going to do something similar to like the Insomniac game, I think that would be cool. Okay, here's something right here. And they confirm this. This is according to them, Cosmic Marvel here. Let's see if you guys, let me know if you guys can see this. Michael Mando's Scorpion will reportedly have a significant role in Spider-Man Brand New Day. This is coming from according to Daniel RPK. So we'll see if that is true. I think it will be because they did confirm, and I gotta find it. I wish I had bookmarked a lot of and stuff. I gotta come in here and see if I can find the tweet. For I know there was a. They confirmed the villains. They said that Boomerang, Scorpion, Tarantula, and Ramrod are villains that we're going to see. So my guess is for that, it's going to be similar to, I don't know, has everybody seen Fantastic Four already? I don't want to spoil anything if there hasn't been people who have seen Fantastic Four. But if you know what I'm talking about, then you know, at the beginning of the film, they do something, and it, you know, they kind of do a series of certain things. I won't go too far in. Okay, you haven't, so I won't go too far into it. But I'll just say this: they do something at the beginning of the movie, and they kind of play into certain things. I'll just say that. So yeah, to keep it very vague. Hey, welcome, Perfect Peace. Welcome. I hope you're doing good. I hope you're doing good today. Is this going to take place before Born Again? I don't believe so. I believe this is going to be after Born Again season 2. And I think the Punisher special is going to be before Born Again. That's my guess because reports are saying that the Punisher special, it's been filming. And I think they have one more week of filming for the Punisher special. And then they are going, you know, John Bernthal is going to be moving into the set of more, Brand New Day. So that's my guess is whatever happens in the Punisher special is going to lead up to Brand New Day, and that's when we see Punisher again. Eyes of Wakanda was okay. It wasn't that great. Okay, I'll check it out. I still haven't had a chance to watch it. There's been so much that has come out over the past couple weeks that I'm trying to catch up on. I just haven't had the time to check out Eyes of Wakanda, but I'll check it out and I'll give you my thoughts. My least favorite Tom Holland Spider-Man is Homecoming. That's fair. I rewatched Homecoming the other day. There's some things like there's some elements in there that I definitely like from the film, but you can definitely tell that certain ideas that they had that they kind of cut, if that makes sense. Far From Home was good in my opinion. Yeah, like I said, I have to rewatch Far From Home because it's been like a few years since I've watched it. So when I rewatch it, if my opinions change, which sometimes it happens, my opinions change. Some movies that I didn't enjoy, then I end up enjoying. So I'll let you know. Have you watched the 60s Spider-Man cartoon? I have. I've watched that. I've watched the 90s one, Unlimited. Um, Obviously Ultimate Spider-Man. I didn't really watch Spectacular Spider-Man that much growing up, and I know Spectacular Spider-Man is like one of the top Spider-Man cartoons for a lot of people. But I just haven't really had the time to watch it, or really, I don't. I honestly like. I think it's the animation style for me with Spectacular Spider-Man. Now, granted, I'm sure that the story makes up for it, obviously, but I guess it's the animation style that kind of throws me off with Spectacular. But I'll give it a chance because I'm willing to give things a chance, even though I may not like certain creative elements or creative process or ideas behind it. I still want to give it a chance. I watched the MTV Spider-Man as well growing up. Yep, I can see it. No, I haven't. I haven't seen Fantastic Four. Okay, then I won't spoil it. I'm excited to see Sadie Sink in Brand New Day. If you don't know who she is, she's from Stranger Things. Yeah, I know. I haven't watched Stranger Things, but I've seen her. There is another movie. There was a movie I seen her in, and I really liked that movie. And I was like, okay, she's cool. So when they casted her, I was like, ooh, okay, she making her Marvel debut. That's cool. We're still trying to find out who she's playing. There's been a lot of good theories out there. Some people saying, it's Firestar. Some people were saying it's Jean Grey. Some people were saying it's, Tobey Maguire's Mayday Parker multiversal thing. I don't know how that would work. But me personally, I've been a bit advocate for this for a while now. But I think she could be playing Teresa Parker. Now, for a lot of you who may not know who Teresa Parker is, Peter Parker does have a sister, and it really doesn't get brought up much. It's not really talked about much because no other Spider-Man media has done it. But the gist around Teresa Parker is that she's pretty much aware of what happens with Peter's parents, how they end up dying, and she's like a CAI or CIA agent, I believe, and she has worked with Nick Fury before, so that's also another indication. But that's my guess as to who she's playing. Teresa Parker. It may be her, it may not be her, it could be someone else. There's plenty of characters she could play, but I'm going with Teresa Parker. That's how I see it, my theory, but it could be anybody. Thoughts on Spider-Man Unlimited? I thought it was cool, for the time. Spider-Man Unlimited. Have you watched Spider-Man Lotus? No, and I don't think I'm ever going to. I can't really support something where your cast is racist and saying a whole bunch of wild stuff, because Spider-Man is a character for everybody. It doesn't matter what race, what sex, all this stuff. It doesn't matter what background you're from. Spider-Man is a character that everyone can love and enjoy. And if you have a problem with that, then I don't think I need to be supporting your project. Which, by the way, I I'm I think fan films are cool, but I don't like the stigma and the ego that certain people have with fan films. I think they're cool, but some people have an ego when it comes to fan films. Some people think that the fan film is better than an actual film. And sometimes, yes, sometimes that can be the case, but then there's other cases where some people have like this hierarchy attitude about doing a fan film, like, oh, I can do this better than Marvel could ever could. And I don't really like that. I don't really like that as a reason to make a fan film. If you're doing it because you feel like Marvel can't do any better, then I just, to me, I don't feel the reason why you would even do it in the first place if that's just the reason why you're gonna make a fan film. You make a fan film because you're passionate of whatever the project is, and you want to do something different. You want to have a different take. And I think that's what the Wolverine one that they did. I don't know if you guys saw the Wolverine fan film that they did. I think it was like a year or two ago. What was so cool about that was that Logan was like a not a Viking, but it was like medieval times, right? And the way they went about it was just so different. Like, it, granted, it still had the Wolverine character in bound, but it felt different. Like, even if you didn't know anything about the X-Men, it still made you compelled to want to see more of that. And that's what I applaud. I applaud when you can make something that, even if people don't know, you still have that intrigue with people to make them want to be curious about the comics, about all of this. And I just don't think, in my opinion, from what I heard with Spider-Man Lotus, I just don't think it gives people that intrigue to make them want to go read Spider-Man comics. And again, granted, you be racist, towards people who, again, Spider-Man's a versatile character that everybody can enjoy. I just don't think you do yourselves any favors, in my opinion. Ultimate Spider-Man is the best Spider-Man show out there. That's a fair argument. I don't get the hate for Ultimate Spider-Man. Like, I enjoyed like episodes. Like, there are plenty of episodes. Like, yeah, he teams up with people. Um, like, yeah, he teams up with people, but Spider-Man has always teamed up with people. Even in the comics, he's teamed up with people. It may not have been as much, because usually Spider-Man, he's on his own. He's fighting his own battles. But this is another thing that I've seen with Tom Holland, and I want to make this perfectly clear, right? People have been saying, "Oh yeah, of course it's another team up film, and on his own." I don't think that's really, because if anything, I feel like Tom Holland would be okay with doing a solo Spider-Man film. But I think also Tom Holland would love to work with these Marvel heroes. And granted, these are the same people who complain about Marvel not being versatile when it comes to having other heroes interact with other heroes. But then they complain about a Spider-Man film doing the exact same thing that they said they don't like. So I just find it funny, I just find it funny when people say that. They want one thing, but then they want another. Bryan Danielson, if you guys know wrestling, he said it best. Fickle. People are very fickle. They don't know what they want a lot of times. Favorite Spider-Man voice actor? Yuri Lowenthal. That's my favorite. Love Yuri Lowenthal. When I played Spider-Man 2018 for the first time, It actually got me back into. I haven't really talked about this, but actually got me back into the Spider-Man character itself. Because for a while, yeah, I was still checking up on whatever Spider-Man animated series they were doing. Yeah, I was still checking out whatever Spider-Man comics were going on at the time. But Spider-Man 2018 rejuvenated the love that I had for Spider-Man growing up as a kid. And it got me back into the character, got me back into saying, like, all right, this is why I love Spider-Man. This is why I adored this character so much growing up. And sometimes that's all it takes. All it takes is just, something like that. Like I said, Spider-Man 2018 to come along and it rejuvenates your love for these characters. And that's what 2018 did for me. And I've been seeing a lot of people talking about, similarities and maybe comparing and a little bit of things they would love to see from Spider-Man 2018 in Brand New Day. And I don't blame them because if you play Spider-Man 2018, even now, after all these years, that game still holds up. It still holds up. And it's just a really amazing, no pun intended, it's a really amazing game. And even with Miles Morales, like out of all three, obviously 2018 is a classic. But for me, Miles Morales is my all-time favorite of the Insomniac games because I love, not only is because I'm a big Miles Morales fan, but because I just love the setting. I love the message behind that film. It is the family, it is the most your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man you can get in that game. And the Christmas setting, the snow falling, all of that, I just thought that was like the most perfect time to do a Spider-Man game, you know. So that's why Miles Morales for me is my all-time favorite Spider-Man game, just based off of it. And the funny thing about that is it's its own game and it's not like a whole, 20-hour game, It's like an 8-hour game, but they go into the story, they get you into the story and they get you out of the story in 8 hours. And it almost makes you feel that you want more. And playing the game for the first time, and this was all during the pandemic, by the way, when everybody was locked down, we didn't even know if we were going to ever be able to go outside of our means again when that game came out. So it just, even then, it really struck a chord with me seeing, a game come out of that caliber and doing it so well to where I personally, I love seeing stories like that. Miles Morales for me did a story that it doesn't get talked about much, you know. But yeah, to circle back around with your question, for me, it's got to be your Lowenthal. But for Miles, that's tough because I like Shamik more as Miles, but I also like Najee Jeter as Miles. So for Miles, I really can't say who my favorite is because I like them both. Both of them have things, do things with Miles as a character that I enjoy. So that's an even tougher question. Hold on, I got someone texting me. I got my mom texting me right now. Let's see. Okay. I'm gonna try to do that right quick for her. But yeah, I have seen some behind the scenes on YouTube. I have too. Like I know there's a tank, which by the way, the logo on the tank, Inner Demons, does that confirm Mr. Negative? I think so. I think we will see Mr. Negative. I'm hoping it's Stephen O'Young that's playing Mr. Negative. I'm hoping that it's him. He did a great job of Mr. Negative in the games, so it would only make sense that he would play him. I hope they cast him as Mr. Negative. That's another thing they're keeping hidden. They're keeping Mr. Negative, the Mr. Negative cast hidden right now, along with Sadie Sink. So that tells me if they're keeping Sadie Sink's role a mystery, that tells me she has a very big major part in the film. But yeah, thoughts on Rami MJ. She's annoying. That's my thoughts on her. The actress, no problem with the actress. But the way they made MJ in the Raimi films, very annoying, very rude, and very distasteful. Mary Jane is not supposed to be this rude, mean girl. That's not who she is. Mary Jane was crazy over Peter Parker. She always has been. Although, granted, current comic people are trying to make Jane as if she is this mean girl or she never really cared about Peter. Really retcon what Stan Lee and so many people tried to do with the character of Mary Jane. Which, by the way, speaking of, did you guys see Mary Jane has broken up with Paul? Thank goodness. Get Paul out of here. I told a friend the other day, because really, which they titled the movie Brand New Day, which if you've read, the comic Brand New Day, all this is because of a deal with Mephisto. Now, granted, we're not going to get the deal with Mephisto in this. Although, if you've seen Ironheart, then we've seen Mephisto. So with that in mind, we know Mephisto exists. We just don't know how long Mephisto has been around for. But he did tease that he's made deals with kings and he's made deals with hot, very powerful people. Take that with what you will, and we'll find out more when it comes to Mephisto, I'm sure. The supernatural saga of the MCU is going to be absolutely insane, and I can't wait. But to get back to your point, I just don't like how she was with on and off with Peter Parker. I just the whole Harry thing, the back and forth, like I just didn't like her character. It was a whole derivative point of Mary Jane, why Mary Jane is so interesting as a character. Like, granted, they got her being an actress, they got that down because Mary Jane, she wanted to be an actress. But I think all the elements that make Mary Jane like the party girl, the girl next door, all these things that made Mary Jane who she is, they completely said, let's scrap all that. Let's make her a mean girl. Let's make her this, character that she doesn't really know what she wants, but she's still like rude about it. I don't like that. I don't like that. I couldn't finish Ironheart. It was so bad. You can spoil that show if you want. This is gonna be crazy, but I actually don't think Ironheart was really as bad as people make it. Now, granted, I do feel like there are some things that definitely they could have worked on within the show. I definitely do feel like there are some things. I think I think it's definitely slow, especially when you start out with the first episode. It's very slow, but by the third episode, it really does get into high gear. But even then, like, I still do wish, I still do wish that they could have done a little bit more. Like I said, there's some elements in there that they definitely could have changed or worked on or improved. Yes, but I don't think it's a horrible show. I don't think it's like the worst thing Marvel has done. And that's just my opinion. Again, everybody's going to have a different opinion on these things. But I don't think it was bad by any means. I just think that, yeah, there's some missed opportunities. There's some script wise, there's some things that could have been improved and things like that. But I don't by any means think it's bad. I don't. MJ was fine in Spider-Man 1. She's definitely more tolerable in 2 and 3. I guess it just for me, like I said, I just don't like that they made her like this nonchalant mean girl. To me, it really does take you out of rooting for their relationship. Now, granted, years could be passed. Years could have passed from what we last seen of her. She might be a little bit more open, a little bit more heartwarming and stuff. But what was presented in the first three movies? Now, granted, I think in three, I think she was just in a lot of ways she's justified by how she was feeling because of the whole symbiote thing, right? Like symbiote was taking over Peter and he wasn't the same. So in that one, I can understand. But I think one and two, just the whole back and forth with the Harry and then Peter and then it I just didn't like that. I just did not like that as an interpretation for Mary Jane. Gwen from TASM was good because in the second one he struggled to know if he wanted to be with her because if he does, she could be in danger. Yeah, like Emma Stone, Gwen, you can tell, like you can just tell, right? Like she's a sweetheart, right? She's a sweetheart and she'll do anything for Peter, right? But she also let Peter know how she felt. Like she let him know, and she's very relatable. She's very relatable in the TASM movies, and that's why it's even more heartbreaking in TASM 2 what happens to her. It's even more heartbreaking because you feel the pain, and Andrew Garfield in that scene just I watched that movie a couple weeks ago and I didn't cry, but it definitely did get to me because you feel the weight of the situation. You said I wish that Peter dated the landlord daughter. I noticed a lot of people were saying that. For me, when they introduced the actress, I don't know her name, but she's very beautiful. The actress for Gwen Stacy in the second film, I believe it's the second film. That's what I was hoping they would do. Have her and Peter, hit it off. That's how I felt. But the landlord daughter, that could have been interesting, but yeah. Gotta go see you. All good. Maybe I'll still be here when you're back. I might stream for like an hour and a half. It wasn't going to be too long of a stream because I just wanted to talk about like the suit and some of the stuff that we know. Okay, so I'm going to be right back. I have to go do something. It's only going to take me a few minutes. I'll be back. So just stay tuned. I wish I had something that I could share on stream. Maybe I could try to share something on stream and let's see. Is there a video or something I could play? I don't know if I can play anything. I don't know if I can play anything just to have so you guys can like have something on the screen and not just see like a background. It'd be fine. I'll I'm back. The Sorry for the wait. I had to do something. You said thoughts on MJ in the '90s. I thought MJ in the '90s was cool. In the '90s animated series, I like that MJ. Gwen Stacy or Mary Jane? Mary Jane always. Mary Jane is in my opinion, is the pinnacle of when it comes to the love that Peter Parker has. Mary Jane is the one. She's always been the one. Yeah, Gwen Stacy, she's there, and Peter and Gwen Stacy hit it off really good. But I think Mary Jane ultimately is the one that Peter is meant to be with. And I've always felt that way. So I guess why not? I don't know if you guys have seen these photos or not, but if you have, then pretty cool. If you haven't, then I guess this will be something new to show off. But if we were to talk about some of the images, um, some of the images for the film, these are like really cool. Shout out to Splash News for having these high quality images. Look at there. We got Tom in a suit, man. Tom in a suit, really cool. Love the spider symbol. It's still the same spider symbol he's had, but it's just raised. You got the raised webbing right here. You got the web shooters that he had in Homecoming. Just really cool, really dope seeing him with a smile on his face. There's another image of his that I like that they had. Obviously, you got him walking on the set right there. Really cool. You get to see that. Then we got some more images. I'm gonna have to go through and find some of the images, but you can see right here. Here's some more splash news. That's him without the mask on. This is probably my favorite. To me, if you were to embody Peter Parker in an image, I say this is one that you could show off. You see, he has the smile on his face, but you know this Peter Parker has struggled. This Peter Parker has been through some stuff. So it's gonna be cool to see this Peter Parker still smile while also still dealing with the things that he struggles with. I think that's a really cool angle, and that is the embodiment of Spider-Man. Regardless of what he goes through, he always finds a way to come back. So I will always be forever a big fan of that as a story. Obviously, I don't like the idea that they make Peter Parker struggle all the time. He's not someone that struggles all the time, but he's a character that has struggles, but he's able to work throughout his struggles, and that's what makes him so dope. You get to see him right there without the lenses on. He's putting on the mask. Really cool. You got another image of him right there on the tank, and this is the Inner Demons tank with the logo on it. I wish I would have bookmarked a lot of the stuff that came out, but really cool seeing the set here. You get to see the back spider a little bit here. You got another one right there. This is another favorite of mine. He's thwipping. He's got the the rope behind him right there. Really cool. I gotta find out what other pages had, because there were a lot of pages that were sharing some of the images. I believe. Shout out to Leo Rydell here. Shout out to him. And I don't know, maybe did I share this one? I don't know if I shared this one or not, but again, really cool. This reminds me of the '60s Spider-Man in the animated series where he's swinging and waving. If you guys know, you know what I'm talking about. And then you get to see a closer look at the back spider. So that's what the back spider looks like. So again, really cool. Love seeing stuff like this. Obviously, you got people responding to it right there. I'm trying to see if there's anything else. I don't believe there was anything else that was showed. Oh, guys haven't followed me on Twitter. It's at JaceTheDon underscore. All in all, pretty cool. Pretty cool. And there's plenty of photos and stuff and videos out there as well if you want to go check that out. Tom Holland was in the suit. He was in character with some of the kids interacting with them and taking selfies and stuff like that. So it's just a really fun time as a Spider-Man fan as a whole. And I don't think this movie could have come at a better point than right now. There's some other things that I do want to talk about, but I want to try to save those for the Fantastic Four stream because, you know, with every movie, everybody has to focus on box office numbers because some people live in a mentality that box office equals success for a film, and that isn't always the case. And I think that's a very tiring point that I'm getting tired of as a whole in this movie space because I feel like we're growing to program our minds that if a movie doesn't make $1 billion, it's not a success. And I don't like that. I don't like that mindset because not every movie is going to make $1 billion. That's just not realistic. I hate to be that person to break that bad news, but every movie is not going to hit $1 billion. That is a unrealistic expectation. If a movie was to hit 500 million, that's a success. If a movie was to hit 700 million, that's a success. And like I said, I'll get into the reason why I say that in my Fantastic Four stream. I really don't want to bring it up here, but stay tuned for that. Favorite Spider-Man live action suit. Live action suit. It's got to be the No Way Home suit that we saw at the end of No Way Home. That's probably my favorite live action suit. Now, if you would have asked me before then, I would have said Toby. But for me, my favorite is the live action. My favorite live action suit is obviously the No Way Home one that we saw at the end of the film. Because that just screams Ditko and John Romita Sr. to me. But if we're talking about animated, as far as cartoon side, like cartoon shows, then I'd say like the classic suit in You're from the Neighborhood Spider-Man might be my favorite. Then obviously you have the anime series, Spider-Man suit. The homemade suit from Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man is one of my favorites. So as far as animated, now the movies, granted, we only had like 2 movies, and that's like Spider-Verse movies. They should do more animated Spider-Man movies. Hopefully we'll get those in the future, but for me, it's the Leap of Faith. I love the Leap of Faith suit. Miles with the paint, the spray painted suit with the graffiti symbol on it with the hoodie and all that. That to me, that's my favorite animated Spider-Man suit. I love that suit. I don't know why. They have a version of it in the Spider-Man games, but it's not the same. It's not the same suit like in the Spider-Verse. And I don't know why Insomniac didn't capitalize on at introducing that suit and the You're Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man suit in a pack for Spider-Man 2. I think that would have been cool. Granted, Insomniac said they wouldn't be doing any more story-related content, which kind of sucks because I wanted the DLC for Spider-Man 2. And I feel like with the game, there's a lot of things missing with Spider-Man 2 that I would have loved to have seen them expound upon in a DLC for the game, but that just did not happen. So I think them doing like a suit pack for the animated cartoons and stuff, I think that would have been a really cool idea because people would have been on board. You add the spectacular Spider-Man suit, people are going to play Spider-Man 2. You add the your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man suits, people are going to pick up Spider-Man 2. You add the animated series, the Spider-Man Unlimited suits, people are going to want to play those games because you add those suits. So it just adds even more replayability with the suits. So that's why I thought, I thought that would have been a cool idea for them to do something like that. But who knows? Maybe for Spider-Man 3, they'll do that. We'll see. And there's plenty of suits for Miles now that they can add. Like I thought they were going to add the Cosmic Spider-Man suit, which is one of my favorites. If you don't know the Cosmic Spider-Man suit, it's the Galaxy cool looking one. I can actually show it off right now on stream if you guys don't know what I'm talking about. But I think a lot of people know which one I'm referring to. I don't know if I can. Can I make that bigger? I don't know if I can make that bigger. Can I? Let's see if I can zoom that in. Let's, can I zoom in on that? Well, that's kind of big. All right. Can I like show that off though? I don't know if I can. No, because it's okay. I can't do that. Let's see if I can find another version of that suit. But I'm sure you guys know what I'm talking about. Captain Universe. That's what it's called. Captain Universe. I always say Cosmic Spider-Man suit because that's what I know it as. Cosmic Spider-Man. Actually, I could just show it off here. It was a suit I was hoping they would have added in the Spider-Man 2 game. Didn't happen. But I thought that would have been cool. The Wakanda suit that Miles gets to make as of recently, that would be a cool suit to add. Like there's still things they could do. That's just showing videos of that. Shout out to who was that? I don't know who that is. But yeah. Juan, what's up? Yeah, it's been a while, my friend. You excited? I know you're excited for Brand New Day. I know you're excited. What do you think of the suit? I haven't had a chance to ask you, but what do you think of the suit? Do you like it? I'll share the suit again because we're here, just so people can kind of see it. Um, yeah, there we go. So yeah, I like the suit. I like it. It's dope. Thoughts on TESM 2 suit? It's cool. I just wouldn't say it's my favorite Spider-Man suit, but it's cool. Of course I am. I love the suit. The only thing that bothers me is the web shooters, but otherwise it's perfect for me. And you? Yeah, I like it. I really like the suit down to the color scheme. I mean, the eyes. Um, I was unsure at first about the raised webbing, especially in that first teaser that they did. I wasn't sure about the raised webbing. Now, I do want to ask you because the spider symbol that we saw on that first teaser is different than the one that we saw, that we're seeing on the suit now, currently. Do you think we're going to see another suit in the movie, or do you think that this is just the same suit, but just updated a bit? We're going to see him, the suit damaged, and we're going to see him repair the suit over time. Because it could go either way. But then it's kind of like the Superman thing all over again, where people were thinking like, oh man, Superman's gonna get another suit by the end of the film, and then it's not even the case. It's just the same film. He just, you know, fixed the suit. Yes, the size is smaller, right? What I've seen, what I've seen is that certain sequences they make the suit more functional, but in post it's the same. It's said that there might be small changes, but I don't know. Okay, so they're gonna make little alterations to the suit in post. That makes sense. That makes sense. Hey, Geekly, what's up, man? Welcome to the stream, man. We're just chatting it up about the suit and all that. I know we talked a little bit about the suit, but I definitely would like to hear your thoughts again on the suit. What do you think about it? Do you like it? Are there some things that you wish they could change on it? I'm at work by myself right now, so I can watch for a little bit. All good, cool, cool. But yeah, just kind of going through the images and stuff. What I bookmarked. I love the suit a ton. My nitpicks went away after seeing the set photos. Yeah, I agree. I agree. Like I said, the first teaser, they were very vague, and I know that was like to hype up the next day, us getting the suit reveal. But I wasn't sure, like I said, I mentioned it before about the raised webbing. I wasn't sure how that was going to look, especially after what we saw after the No Way Home suit that they introduced at the end of the film. I was just like, I don't know how they're going to do that. But now after seeing like the set photos right here, and there's more that I bookmarked. Like I said, I should have bookmarked like a ton because there's like a ton. But Splash News, they gave us like some high quality versions of the suit. I said this is like my favorite. This is probably like my favorite photo out of all the ones that we got. This is probably like my favorite. The one where he's waving is also a favorite. This one is also really cool too. Um, This one's cool too. Reminds me of the one where he's in, I think he's in the, not the noir suit, but the night vision one. Reminds me a bit of that one a little bit from Homecoming. I believe that was Homecoming. Or was it Far From Home? I can't remember, but it was one of the movies. I like that one too. They're putting on, obviously he doesn't have the lenses on, but um, looking at that it reminds me a little bit of the final fight in Spider-Man 1 with Toby. The Night Monkey was Far From Home. Yeah, that's the one. The Night Monkey suit. Yeah, that's the one. I'm looking at it right now. I think Unboxed had some stuff too, some images. So I can try to pull up those images from Unboxed's page too. I think Unboxed, like, he shared some like video. I'm gonna try to go to his page. The Tom Holland meets fan Spider-Man. I just want to go in. Yeah, here's some right here. You can see right there. Tom Holland hyped right there. I think that's Destin right there. Right there, I believe. Which Tom Holland, he did post some videos, some he did post some photos with Destin on his Instagram page. There's something right there. Perfect right there.
You gotta wait and see, mate.
Really cool, like really cool seeing all this stuff. It's dope. It really is. Got another image right here. Stretching. Trying to see if there's any other ones. Here's some right here. There's some other ones right here. I don't think I've seen that one. That one's definitely new. I don't think I've seen that one. These are the ones when I got up. When I got up yesterday, these are the ones I saw. So I saw this one. I was like, "Oh snap!" And I saw this one right here. So I didn't even expect us to see like those suit. At least the suit. Obviously, I expected to see the suit, but I expected to see it like so early in. Um, so it's really cool that we're getting this now instead of like it getting leaked out and now people like already know what the suit looks like. So shout out to Sony and Marvel, being ahead of the crunch. This is stuff on set, what that other stuff is, but yeah, that's kind of the stuff that we're seeing. Like there's a lot of stuff. Remember the original Civil War? Remember the original Civil War Spider-Man suit? Yeah, I do. First appearance, right? Like in the MCU, grabs Captain America's shield and he holds it. Like, yeah. Stone Cold, Steve Austin, is that you? Is that you in the chat? You said Tom's new suit looks like a big old piece of trash to me. Okay, so let me ask you this, and that's your opinion. Let me ask you this. What is it about the suit that you don't like? I'm gonna pull it back up. So you like be honest, like you tell me, like what is it about the suit that you don't like? Because there are people who do have like some things that they wish they like. Juan said, like the web shooters. Not a fan of the web shooters being out, which I have been seeing that like the web shooters are on the outside of the suit. You know, that's a fair argument. But like, what about you, Stone Cold? What about it isn't that good to you? You think it's trash? It looks like he bought it from Party City and cosplaying, and web shooters are too big. Okay, so the web shooters thing, like that criticism I can understand because, a lot of people I've seen people have that criticism about the web shooters, being too big or the very revealing on the suit, and that's a fair criticism. But I don't know if I really see the point of saying it looks like it's bought from Party City because I could show you some suits that look like they're from Party City, and to me, this doesn't look like that's one from Party City, in my opinion. That's how I feel. That's in my opinion. You said classic Spidey suit is a win in my opinion. It is a win in my book every time. Yeah, the classic. It's classic. You know what I mean? Like again, this is like John Romita era with some Toby and some Andrew in there. And I've said it so much on my channel. You guys know that John Romita Sr. is my all-time favorite man artist of all time. Like to me, when it comes to Spider-Man, he's the GOAT when it comes to illustrations. Like, look at that. I don't think you guys can see that, but like, look at this, right? Like, this is John Romita Sr. right here. When I think of Spider-Man, Jarmy Senior is who I think of. Like obviously Steve Ditko is another one I think of course. You know, now that looks like that was made at Party City. That looks like that was made at Party City. And maybe that was. Connection is Your connection is unstable. Please wait while we're trying to reconnect. Okay. Wonder why it's doing that. Am I still here? Let me know if I'm still here. You guys can still hear me and see me, right? Okay. Seems like it's gone now. Okay. But another thing that I think people need to realize is that these are superhero suits. And when you see superhero suits, of course, in real life, they're going to look weird to you. They're going to look odd. They're going to look unnatural. But the thing about it is that, again, these are not realistic characters. These are fantasy characters. Is it going to make sense for Superman to wear tights over his suit? No, it's not going to make sense. And it's not supposed to make sense. But that's what makes these characters so cool, is that they're doing things that regular people probably wouldn't do for the simple fact of design, right? So when you see Superman with the tights on, then like, all right, this is Superman. Same with Spider-Man, right? When you see him in that spandex suit with the webs on the mask and the big spider or the small spider, or the spider on the back of his suit, that's Spider-Man. Fantastic Four, right? When you see Fantastic Four in the blue and white or the blue and black suits, with the giant four in the on the chest, that's Spider-Man. I mean, Spider-Man. That's Fantastic Four. Spider-Man did join Fantastic Four for a time, but you guys know what I'm talking about. I know the suit's supposed to be homemade, but it doesn't work for me. Well, what would you do? What would you do differently? Because to me, the whole point of Spider-Man is the fact that his suit is supposed to be homemade. It's supposed to be, you know, him knitting the suit, making the suit from on his own. There's no one making the suit for him, and I think that's what they're trying to move past. We spent a trilogy with him having the help of other people. This trilogy is going to be about him coming to his own terms as Spider-Man, learning how to make his own suits, learning how to make his own webbing. And, it's not going to look the best at first glance, but the more and more experience he gets learning how to make his own suits, the more and more it'll be perfected over time. And I think that's what makes Spider-Man an integral character, is the fact that he's doing this all on his own. And sometimes, yeah, he puts his suit in the laundry and it shrinks, so he has to make another. He has to unshrink the suit. He has to knit the suit up or completely make a whole new suit. Like, that's the point of the character. That's the growth in the character. White gloves or black gloves for Fantastic Four? I'll go white gloves. I'm going with white gloves. I think for the Fantastic Four movie, the suits that they have, the blue and white, work. Now, we saw John Krasinski, and although I prefer the blue and black, and we did, well, I won't spoil it, but like I said, if you saw the beginning of the movie, then right? Um, you do get a bit of a reference to the classic suit from the early comics, but which we'll talk about Fantastic Four on Thursday. I gotta ask you, Geekly. I don't know if you want to, but I was thinking on Thursday at 5 o'clock, if you're free, if you wanted to, review Fantastic Four, talk about Fantastic Four, because that's something I'm planning on doing on Thursday. If things don't change, of course, because I may have plans for stuff and things come up, and so. But I'm gonna try to stride for Thursday. You haven't watched Fantastic Four yet? Okay. Well, if when I do stream Fantastic Four, we are going to talk spoilers. So if you haven't watched Fantastic Four yet, I probably wouldn't suggest coming to the stream until you've watched it, because I know not everybody has watched it or has had a chance to watch it. And I'm still trying to figure out when to do a Superman stream, because I still want to talk about Superman and I just haven't had the time to. I had so much going on. I just didn't have the time to really do all the plans that I had. But I do want to talk Superman. Maybe we'll do that because I know Peacemaker's coming out next week. So that might be the best time to really go in and talk about Peacemaker and Superman then. But yeah. I'm probably going to end the stream in like 7 minutes, probably less than 7 minutes. I just wanted to come on here and talk to you guys about Brand New Day, the suit. We could definitely go more into Brand New Day because there's so much more to talk about with Brand New Day. But maybe I'll do that on a stream where there's more stuff that comes out. And then I can just like jump in and do a stream on the fly. And then we just go through a ton of stuff that came out about it. I'm trying to see if I'll go on Twitter right now and see if there's any like big scoops for Spider-Man Brand New Day or anything that someone's posted or any news about it. But I don't see anything. The Fantastic Four works better with white gloves than black. Yeah, I agree. The white gloves just look a lot more cleaner and just a little bit more better, you know. I am hoping for the day that we get a Spider-Man and Fantastic Four interaction. That is something that I've wanted to see for so long, and we are that close to seeing it. We just need them to meet for the first time, and I think that'll happen in either Doomsday or Secret Wars. We shall find out, but we'll see. Anawek, you said some people say, I guess that's how you pronounce your name. Sorry if I butchered it. Most people said that Tom's new suit is better than Andrew Garfield and Toby's suit, but you can't judge that until the movie comes out. But TASM 2 is still the best for me, and that's a fair judgment. You know, we haven't really seen what it looks like when they hit the movie magic on it. But as far as like the set photos, I really like what they're doing with the suit. I'd have to see more of it, but I say right now it's my favorite suit, but that always changes. I still think for me, the No Way Home suit is still my favorite one. It's still my favorite. And even if you see the concept art, like the different concepts for the suit, I don't know. That's just showing off the clip. Um, let's see. Like even some of these designs here, I don't know if I can show that, but if you guys see what I'm talking about, even this one right here is very interesting. And you know what's interesting? The concept right here has raised webbing on it. Yeah, the final swimsuit. It's cool to see Spider-Man crossover with X cartoon. Yeah, that was really cool, especially with Spider-Man and the X-Men being like top two Marvel characters that I love. But even like down here, the concept, and that's why I need to get the art book for the No Way Home. Because you see, they were experimenting with even bigger lenses, right? Like the Todd McFarlane and Mark Bagley era for the lenses, but they ended up going with the John Romita Sr. era. They even had like the symbiote suit concepts right here. So this could be potential what the symbiote suit might look like. It might have a more liquidy, texture to it. I think if they do go the route, I would love to see the red spider symbiote suit because that would be a lot different to just the white spider. They could do the red spider, and that could to Null too down the road if they want to do that. I definitely need to get that art book at some point. I don't know if you guys had any more thoughts or comments. If so, let me know. Have you watched Avengers Earth's Mightiest Heroes? I have not. I want to. It's on the list. But I have so much. I'm still trying to finish watching The Wonderfully Weird World of Gumball because I haven't finished that yet. And I started the King of the Hill reboot today. I watched 5 episodes of that. So yeah, a lot of stuff on the list that I'm trying to catch up on. I'm trying to go back and rewatch The Punisher. So yeah, a lot of stuff that I got on the list. I got Peacemaker next week. So if you guys like Peacemaker, stay tuned. We'll be doing live discussions for Peacemaker with each episode. I'm gonna try to get back into this thing and try to do more live streams. I used to do live streams every week. So I'm gonna try to do a live stream every week, if not 2 live streams at least. So we'll see. Yeah, I don't know if you guys have any more comments or questions. If so, let me know. Um, I think the symbiote suit concept was scrapped, so I think it won't be the same one from the concept. True, true. I still like the it's like the materials like it reminds me so much of Insomniac's symbiote suit, where it's like this liquidy like black substance, right? It is shiny, like it's very shiny. So I'm hoping they can still have that like liquidy shiny material with the symbiote suit, but just maybe we see like the tendrils, kind of crawling throughout the suit. They don't have to do like a one to one to the Insomniac one because I don't think they're going to. But they don't have to do this whole texturized. I don't think they have to do all these textures and stuff with the symbiote suit. I think just having like it being like this like very smooth texture with maybe some blue like in the comics, like the blue shading to it. I think that would be kind of cool. Thoughts on the censorship in the 90s Spider-Man cartoon? I think back in the day, you think about it, like back in the day, this aired on Fox Kids. And a lot of, dark stories, though the 90s animated series did have, if you really go back, there were some dark episodes in the animated series. There were some dark episodes. But I think also at the same time, they couldn't go too dark because then, you know, they would have to change the rating for the show, and that's a whole nother thing within itself. I mean, if you listen to my X-Men interview that I did with Eric and Julia Leewald, they kind of explain like certain things they could do and certain things they couldn't do, because of the censorship and the ratings on on TV and children's content. Certain things couldn't get showed in children's content. You know, you were lucky if you were able to get away with certain things in children's content. So that's why back then there was a lot of censorship when it came to that. Now, granted, things became more different. We started getting adult animation like Beavis and Butthead, The Simpsons, shows like that. Then that's when animation can kind of go that route of, okay, we can show certain things now. That's why we're able to this day to have shows like Invincible, that they can go with the blood and gore and guts and all that, because there had to be a change at some point to kind of allow these more adult, mature oriented stories, even like Spawn the animated series. And Spawn the animated series doesn't really get talked about nowadays, but I think Spawn the animated series did something very big and massive at that time, because there was a lot of dark and mature elements with Spawn. And if you know Spawn, the character, there's a lot of dark and mature elements with Spawn. He's not a character that you can do a PG-13 thing. He's a character that you have to go R-rated, just based off of that. And kind of talking about Brand New Day, right? When you have the Punisher, when you bring a character like the Punisher into play, you can't do this PG-13 thing. You know, you could try to make it work, but with how the Punisher is, how we've seen him, even if you don't count, before, the stuff was canon, now with how he was in Born Again, I just don't see how you can do that with Punisher and kind of tone him down. You know what I mean? Like, you're going to have, Punisher being who he is, and, that action, that intensity. You're going to have that. So it just all depends. It all depends on how they do it. I can't say that they can't do it, because they have done it in the animated series in the 90s. Granted, there wasn't profanity or anything like that. They still made the Punisher in that episode scary. They still made him a strong character. They made him someone that you don't want to mess with. So they can still do that within this movie. It's just a matter of how they do it. Hey, Geekly, welcome back, man. We're just talking about censor. Maciel was asking me about the censorship in the 90s Spider-Man cartoon, and I was kind of like explaining why they had to do that back then. And it kind of a little bit relates to what they're going to do with this, because I have heard from people that this movie does feel like one big giant episode of the animated series. And if that's the case, if that's, what they're going by, then they can maybe do what they did in the animated series with the Punisher, how he was presented in that episode. They can go that route, but I think what they want to do, they know that people have seen the Punisher in Born Again and even in his own show. And even with the Punisher special, right? Because the Punisher special is coming up next year. They know that people are going to want to see that same Punisher, you know, um, they want to try to maintain that as much as possible. If Scorpion becomes Venom, I'm sure some people will complain for not letting Eddie Brock to be Venom. Oh yeah, you already know people are going to complain. If Eddie Brock is not Venom, you know people are going to complain because they did that with Spider-Man 2. When the game came out and at Summer Games Fest, when Brian Intihar was there and he talked about Spider-Man 2, that Harry was going to be Venom this time around, right? Or they said they were, well, he didn't confirm that outright that Harry was going to be Venom, but he teased that this is going to be a different story, that Eddie Brock was not going to be Venom. He confirmed that off bat. When they confirmed that, there were a lot of people upset at the fact that it wasn't Eddie Brock. And there were still people saying, oh, it's Eddie Brock. They're just fooling people. Well, with the trailers, I feel like, and that's kind of one of the reasons with the trailers for Spider-Man 2, with each trailer, they made it more and more obvious that Harry was going to become Venom. Even with the Heal the World tagline, right? We're going to heal the world. They made it kind of obvious that, yeah, Harry's going to be the one that ends up becoming, Venom. So when they did that, a lot of people didn't like that. A lot of people got upset. And, I just don't know. I just don't think there's any reason to do Eddie Brock. I mean, they could, granted, but I just don't feel like there's any need to do Eddie Brock. I used to be very much against the idea of skipping Eddie over for Venom in the MCU, but now I've got some ideas on why I think it would work. In an ideal world, they'll just like him. They will just like him speak for himself as Scorpion, but we will see. Yeah, and like with all that we have going on right now, let him be Venom. Let him. I guess you were saying let him be Scorpion. Like we with so much that's going on with the Punisher, with the Hulk, with Mister Negative potentially, all this stuff. How are they going to even be able? I mean, I'm sure they will, but how are they even going to be able to even tackle the symbiote coming into play? Like, how would that even come about? Would he get it by accidental means with Mr. Negative? Like, how would they do that? You know? Ultimate Spider-Man has Harry Osborn as Venom. So yeah, it's been done before, like Harry Osborn becoming Venom. But for them, like when the game came out, a lot of people, you know, this was like a brand new concept for them, and there was a lot of outrage by it. I don't mind Harry being Venom. I just don't think they, with Spider-Man 2 the game, and I've said it before, you can tell there was a lot of things that they had planned that they cut due to time constraint. Even when you get to the second act of the game just feels like there was so much that was cut. And I just don't think we had enough time with her in the symbiote suit because I think in game he only had it for like 2 or 3 days. I would have liked to have seen him had the symbiote over some months to really get the effects of how the symbiote is taking over Peter. It's taking over his life. I just don't think in 2 days that's enough to really give people like, okay, this is how detrimental the symbiote is. I just don't think that was enough. Ultimate Spider-Man cartoon series ruined the Black symbiote too. Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, if they plan on doing the symbiote this time around, they have to really be smart because I feel like we haven't had a granted people say Spectacular Spider-Man probably is like the best symbiote art. I think in live action, but also just in general of the past couple of years, I don't think we've had the best symbiote arc yet, if that makes sense, at least in my opinion. I could be wrong about that, but in my opinion. And if they're going to do this with Tom, they need to be very smart and very aware and not just make the symbiote be something that Peter goes through in a day. Let it be a couple of months that Peter is going through this whole symbiote arc. Um, because it makes it more believable, in my opinion. Because symbiote, the symbiote is like an allegory to addiction, right? And when you're, I don't know, maybe someone who has gone through an addiction, or maybe you've gone through some kind of addiction yourself, right? Could be video games, it could be something more, something more lethal, things like that. It's not something that you just deal with in a day and it's gone tomorrow. It takes time. It takes time to get over an addiction, and I think that's what I want to see. If they plan on doing the symbiote, I want to see that being something that we see. Granted, cartoons is kind of different because with the animated series, I think he had it for like 2 episodes, right? He had it for like 2 episodes. Um, and then I don't remember Ultimate. I don't know how long he had it for in Ultimate. Um, and then your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, we're potentially gonna see some kind of symbiote arc. I don't know if they're gonna do it in season 2, but after seeing what we saw in the last episode, we know they're gonna lead to that at some point. So even there, I'm hoping that your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man does a really good symbiote arc, which I think they will, because Jeff is a big fan of Spectacular Spider-Man. He's also a big fan of the animated series. He's stated that on many accounts before, so I think he will do a really good symbiote arc in the show. I just we'll have to wait and see. Sadie Sink, who do you think she is playing? I know this question is being beaten to death, but I pray on everything that she is Gwen. Gwen is a possibility. Like, she's a possibility. I could see her as Gwen, and that would make Sadie Sink the third redhead to be Gwen, because you had what's her name? You guys know what I'm talking about. Gwen Stacy from Tobey Maguire Spider-Man movies. The actress. She's very beautiful, by the way, the actress. Yes, Bryce Dallas Howard. Yeah. Very. It sucks that we never did get a chance to see her Gwen Stacy in full action because It would have been cool to see what they would have done with her. It sucks that we never did get a chance fully. So yeah, you said in the Spider-Man series, I used to get mad that Harry already got the black symbiote suit before Peter in the back in Black episode. That was a little weird. I do understand that sentiment. But I think they were trying to do something different, I think. But who to circle back to your question, Geekly, who do I think she's playing? Well, I think we talked about it before, but this is my theory on who she's playing. Because we haven't really seen her before in any of the Spider-Man stuff. Boom. Teresa Parker. That's who my guess is to who she's playing. Because again, we have not seen Peter Parker's sister at all. In any of the Spider-Man media, we've never seen her. We've had mentions of her, but we have not seen her. And for those of you who may not know who this is her right here. Full name Teresa Elizabeth Parker. Nicknames Good Punisher, Miss Penguin, Miss T. So she's got some aliases. It says right here the true origins of Teresa Parker are uncertain. She is believed to be the daughter of CIA agents Richard and Mary Parker and younger sister of Peter Parker. After the death of their parents, Peter went to live with her aunt and Aunt May, Uncle Ben, which we know all of this, right? We know all of this. While Teresa, whose birth has been kept a secret, was allegedly adopted. Many years following the deaths of Richard and Mary, Teresa would be personally recruited into the CIA by Nick Fury. So yeah, there you go. You got ties to Nick Fury right there. Which if there's anyone who knows about hiding secrets, it would be Nick Fury. If there's anyone that would know of a Teresa Parker, it would be Nick Fury. So we get into that. Teresa's true parentage became a mystery, made it seem like Teresa's belief that she was the result of Mental's manipulations. Later, Finisher, to turn Teresa to their side, saw them claim that she grew up in an academy run by the Finisher of shape-shifting sleeper agents like Chameleon, raising the possibility that she wasn't the daughter, or even that Richard and Mary that bore her were Chameleon impersonators themselves and not the real parents. So, all in all, there's an interesting mystery behind Teresa Parker never really talked about that I think would be really cool if they touched on. So all in all, Peter Parker sorta, kinda does have in a way. So we'll see. But that's who my guess as to his plan. Hopefully the stream wasn't lagging during that, but we'll see. I'm trying to see if there's any other news about Brand New Day, but I'm not seeing any at the current moment. But yeah, I'm probably gonna end the stream. Excuse me. But yeah, I'm probably gonna end the stream here because, yeah, it's almost like 2 hours, and I'm not trying to be on for too much longer. So my voice is starting to kill me. But I will say, if you have not, make sure that I have this up so you guys can do this now that I can know I can share the screen now. If you guys have not, you're new, subscribe. Out. Check your boy out. You know, got some cool things coming up. Fantastic Four stream on Thursday. If you want to come by and talk Fantastic Four, I'm here. I got some videos on the way. This got some videos here. Brand new day suit reveal reaction. Pretty cool. Talked about the new Spider-Verse movie that isn't Spider-Verse, but reminds me of Spider-Verse, and I think it's going to be pretty cool. Goat did a reaction to that. Any Percy Jackson fans? They did a reaction to the season 2 teaser. Peacemaker. Any Peacemaker fans? DC fans? I'm going to be talking Peacemaker next week. Be going over the episodes live. We're going to do a breakdown. So if you're a fan of Peacemaker, definitely subscribe. But Beavis and Butthead, Eyes of Wakanda, Scott Pilgrim talked about the game. Got something really cool about the game that's going to come out pretty soon. Just stay tuned. So I got interviews. I got all this good stuff over here on the channel. I plan to expand even more. I want to do more. Check it out. I think you guys will enjoy, what I have to offer. And I may not be a big channel. I may not be quality wise and technical wise. I may not be the best channel for all that, but I can promise you this. I love having good conversations with you guys. I love doing these streams. I know I haven't been doing streams as much recently. I haven't really been doing much content as recently, but your boy's trying to get back into it. I'm trying to do more things and try to come up with new content all the time. When I'm not doing content, I'm thinking about content. I'm thinking about new ways to bring some interest to the channel. Because I don't want to just do animation stuff for all my life. I don't want to talk just animation because the people that know me know that I love Marvel, I love DC, I love movies and other TV shows outside of the realm. So I want to try to bring more of that on this channel. But I appreciate everybody that comes through, regardless of what it may be that you came through here for. I appreciate it. I hope you stay tuned. I really do. Kendrick, what's up, man? Stopping by to show some support. The new Spider-Man is looking good so far. Keep the videos coming. I will, man. I appreciate you stopping. I'm gonna hit you up because there's something that we talked about that I definitely do want to do at some point. I don't know if you can go live together on YouTube. I'm sure there's a way. I have to figure it out, but I think it would be cool since we're kind of halfway through the year to talk about like our top 5 movies so far of 2025 this year, since it's been like half a year. There's been some really good movies that have come out of this year so far. And I think there's going to be even more dope movies coming out towards the second half year into the end of the year. And then obviously next year is going to be insane. We got the Odyssey, we got Spider-Man Brand New Day, we got Doomsday, a ton of other stuff, movies and stuff coming out next year. So I definitely do want to talk about, all this stuff because there's so much excitement. And that's why, like, I understand people, getting into the box office conversations. I understand, but we need to learn how to stop talking statistics and all this stuff all the time and just enjoy movies again. Have fun with movies again. I people nitpick about every little thing in a movie and this and that and the fourth and having debates about what movie was better, Superman or Fantastic Four, and you know, just making a whole dramatic scene. And I get it, everybody's gonna have their opinion, and that's fine. But I think some people take it too far. Oh, Fantastic Four wasn't good because the box office wasn't as big right now as Superman's and all this stuff to try to it just takes away from the fun of what makes these movies so cool and what makes them an event. And in my opinion, I don't get so wound up into the box office conversations like some people do in this space, because there are a lot of movies that have come out back in the day that were not box office successes that people still love. People still love to this day. And I think that's what matters. Us, the people, us, the consumers. If we enjoy these movies, if these movies leave a long-lasting impact in our lives, like Star Wars, like Back to the Future, like Lord of the Rings, all these movies, if they give you something, they make you feel something. I think that's the important part. Yes, box office plays a part into that, but box office should not be a conversation on the quality and duality of a film. And that's how I feel. So yeah, with all that being said, thank you all so much for coming by. I'm gonna shout you guys out. Shout out everybody that came through, because I like to shout you guys out. Shout out to Maceo, the Powerful Anthony Studios. Shout out to Freddie. Shout out to Solomon. Shout out to Perfect Plate, Perfect Peace, Nostalgic Times. Anthony, I forgot to talk about you, Anthony. I'm so sorry. I don't know if you're still here, Anthony. You said, "How are you doing, buddy?" By the way, I'm doing okay. I could be better. I'm doing okay. I got an 87 on my test today. Awesome, man. Awesome. Keep that going. Keep making those high scores, man. They really do. People will say they don't matter, but they do matter. They really do. So shout out to Anthony. Let's see who else we got in here. There are some other people that came through. Juan, shout out to Juan, which I believe Juan is going to be streaming at 9 tonight. So go check out Juan's stream if you haven't. Go check him out. Really good content creator. If you love Spider-Man, he talks all things Spider-Man over there. So definitely go check him out. Show him some support and say JaceTheDon sent you. So yeah. Geekly, shout out to my boy Geekly. Amazing content over there. He live streams all the time. Great videos. Me and him, we did a collab video. When the Punisher news broke out on Brand New Day, we did a collab video. We plan to do some more collabs in the future, some more streams and videos and stuff like that. So if you guys like that kind of content, stick around. Go subscribe to Geekly. A lot of great, amazing stuff coming out from him. Stone Cold, if you're still here, I appreciate you coming by. All feedback is welcome. Even if you don't like the suit, I still think it's dope that you come by and you give your feedback on it. So don't ever feel bad about that. Anawak, shout out to you coming by, coming through with the feedback as well. Like I said, it's really dope being able to do these streams, and I want to try to do more. I really do. I want to try to do more. And my boy Kendrick as well. I can't forget my boy Kendrick. I really appreciate you coming by as always and supporting me and being there for me. It's great, man. It really is. It's great to have a support system. I I was never a popular kid in school. I never had a whole group of friends, but more and more doing this content creation thing, as much as it can be a burden sometimes, and sometimes it can be very stressful and frustrating. I will never take away the great people I've met through in the space, the great people that I continue to meet and make friends with and have good conversations with. I will always be forever grateful for it. So I want to thank you all so much for supporting me throughout all of these years. And I know I say it a lot and it's very repetitive, but I always want to give my thanks to you guys because if it wasn't for you guys, I don't know what I would be doing right now. I don't even know if I would even have a YouTube channel right now without just having a small group of people listening, and then it became something more, and I'm grateful for that, and I want to continue to bring you my best work, and I'm always trying to find ways to get better and better and better each time. So yeah, fire stream, yeah, fire stream. I can't. If you think this is fire now, wait till I get more and more updated with the equipment, with the technology, and I can start to stream games and all that good stuff. Y'all ain't seen nothing yet. You ain't seen nothing yet. And I can't wait for the day when that happens so I can just go crazy. Just, you know, go crazy in this space because I know I can do it. I know I can. I know I can be something bigger. So that's what I aspire to. I aspire to that. Oh yeah, for sure, man. I'm looking forward to doing the stream soon. All the movies were good in their own way. Exactly. Like I said, this year has had a lot of good movies and a lot of surprising movies that people didn't think were going to be all that good. Surprised a lot of people. Sinners is an example. A lot of people were hating on Sinners, saying, "Oh, this is just a Blade knockoff" and all that. And now people seen Sinners. People know that Sinners was coming with something different. Sinners was a whole different film, and that just goes to show you, you never know what you may like until you go to the theater and see it. And I want to also make this point, and I want to say this because a lot of people on this space will not tell you this, but a lot of people get paid to say that they hate movies. And they will try to stick their biasness on you to tell you not to go watch a film. But if you really want to go see a film, you have to tone out what some of these people say. Now, granted, yes, there are some movies that, yes, why did they bother to make this? But there are some movies that you can go see and you can find things to like, even if you didn't like the movie as a whole. If you can at least find things that you liked, rather it was, I like certain effects they used. I liked certain things in the script. I like certain music that they used. If you can find something to like, I think that's what matters. And that's the fun of cinema. That's the fun of movie making. And when we can get back to a place where we can just when we can get to back to a place in society where we can just have fun without complaining every 5 seconds about something, then I think we can have a better understanding of why the cinemas, why movie, why storytelling is so magical. It's sacred. So yeah, that's my thoughts. Yeah, I know I went on a elongated rant. I know I did. I usually do. I'm sorry. That's just a part of who I am. But I do it out of love. I do it out of love. So yeah. But yeah, with that being said, thank you guys so much for tuning in the stream. I had an amazing time. Don't forget to come Thursday talking about Fantastic Four. If you've seen it, come by. If you haven't seen it, I don't want to spoil you, so don't come by. But if you have, do come by, or maybe if you don't mind the spoilers, come by. But yeah, with that being said, thank you guys so much. I hope you guys have a great week, a great night. Stay loved. And yeah, I'll see you guys next time.